we have Justin Cena, the creative product marketing manager at TikTok. Justin, welcome.
Hi, Tamana. Thank you so much for having me. Let me just jump on here and share my screen and we can get started.
Perfect. Did I say your last name correctly?
Sina Senna, go back and forth between both. So
And what's the
yeah,
preference?
respond to anything. But Justin Senna,
Awesome. Okay. I know for next time. Thank you so much.
of course. Just making sure you can see my screen okay.
Yep. It
First
looks
time.
great. The stage is all yours. Take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. So, yeah, as mentioned, my name is Justin. I'm a creative product marketing manager here at TikTok. So, I focus on our full suite of creative products, whether that be creator focused or our GenAI suite. But I've spent the better part of the last year really focusing on our suite of GenAI tools to help scale creative on the TikTok platform. So, today we're going to talk about versioning like magic. So, being able to turn ideas and assets that you might already have, and then being able to scale them for TikTok specifically. So just some context, I think everyone's probably really familiar with the ideas of creative and advertising, but great creative has always been something that's really great for business. So, not only is it going to be what helps boost your bottom line and your campaign performance, but bottom line metrics aside, it's really what creates your brand image, and it's really what creates a connection with potential buyers, and therefore driving more long-term and overall sustainable growth. Here at TikTok, we focus with our clients on what we call the 2Q framework. So that's really leveraging two specific areas of measurement to assess the creative health of our clients leveraging the platform, and that falls under creative quantity. So really using volume to keep the ads fresh, keeping it visible, really combating creative fatigue, and then obviously being TikTok, that is an ever-growing platform, being able to reach new and exciting audiences. And then on the other side, we have creative quality. So, creating content that is both compelling and attention grabbing as much as it is very educational, and making sure that the content can really resonate with the audience that's viewing it. And then aside from the actual content itself, really with TikTok specifically, making sure that it's TikTok first, it's native to TikTok. So it's following some of our creative codes and our overall best practices, which is something that is oftentimes a little bit more of a hurdle to get over for new advertisers, just because the platform does change so frequently. And so when we talk about creative volume, especially on TikTok, you do need to show up more as an advertiser. So when it comes to performance campaigns specifically, we're looking at anywhere between 5 to 7 creative assets on average. That's recommended to be refreshed on a weekly or bi-weekly basis to drive the best return on ad spend. But obviously, it depends on when you start to see fatigue. And then with our brand campaigns, anything greater than 3 creative assets on average, refreshed twice a week, is typically what we see driving higher brand association. So, for some of our clients that are running, a scaled amount of ads, you could be running anywhere from 50 to hundreds of creatives at any given time. Take into account for the need to refresh. There's obviously an appetite for volume on the platform, and so that's why we wanted to go through our GenAI tools to show how clients can scale that and maintain that level of volumetric output. And so, like I kind of mentioned, if you're kind of dealing with that mass amounts of creative ask, we understand that creative assets aren't just growing on trees. So we wanted to formulate a solution for our advertisers that could be fast and efficient, but also very cost effective, so that they could make more content, but not only more content, but content that's very specific to our platform. So in meets Symphony Creative Studio. So the Creative Studio is our suite of production Gen AI tools that help our clients make TikTok content that will apply well to the platform. So when we're looking at Symphony specifically, or I guess when we're really looking at the world of Gen AI when it comes to creative, we're looking for that creativity to meet a certain level of efficiency. And so what we mean by that is we still want the Gen AI tools to leverage aspects of that human creativity. So whether it's the content and the assets that you have produced yourself as a business, whether that's coming from your creators and your creator-led partnerships, or any sort of production partners that you're working with, leveraging those authentic tools that are native to what does well on the platform, and then being able to build that into our AI efficiency at different levels, whether that be in the creative ideation phase, whether that be in the creative production phase, or maybe the final touches of optimization. we're leveraging these Gen AI tools essentially to make more content that will resonate with our audience, specifically on TikTok. And so with the creative studio, as I kind of mentioned, this is going to work for all different types of creative scenarios. So whether you're starting from scratch and you're just looking to build a piece of content from 0 to 1 into a TikTok style structure, or maybe you have an existing asset that you want to take from one to many, Symphony is going to be able to put that fresh spin or that fresh production on the assets. And so tying into that as well, we have this idea of creative versioning. So these are all different areas that Symphony is going to be able to address as it versions the creative assets that you already have made available. So versioning can be very simple ways of either repurposing previous assets, like we mentioned, or taking assets that are existing on the platform and then scaling that volume by making it very TikTok centric, right? And so what we've seen from our user base is that they are very, very much more open to brands that produce a variety of creative, because it keeps them engaged and it kind of keeps them guessing or interested on what the brand is currently producing rather than seeing the similar types of creatives and also the stylistic approaches over and over again. And creative versioning doesn't have to be something where you're reinventing the wheel. Sometimes it can be as simple as adding in captions or changing the captions, or it could be a little bit more aggressive, right? We could be trying to switch in a new hook or maybe a catchier CTA, and maybe we want to change the entire script or the stylistic approach. So there's a lot of different versions that you can do that are a little bit more of a higher lift or a lower lift, but Creative Studio is going to be able to help you accomplish all the things that you see here on the screen. And so when we're starting at the basics with, our creative studio, you do have the ability to generate new TikTok ads from 0 to 1. So our generate TikTok ads tool will allow you to actually upload video or image assets that you already have that are authentically made. And then from there, it'll actually generate alongside the product information that you input into the tool. It'll help generate anywhere from 3 to 5 TikTok stylistic creatives that you have the creative freedom to then edit as much or as little as you want, but it's specifically going to add in elements that are native to TikTok. So like I mentioned, having some trending background music, having captioning, having some quick cuts, and a quality voiceover to kind of guide the narration. These are things that, again, do really well on our platform. And so not just taking a general approach, but really kind of making that content, like we said, that sings on the platform. Some of the other tools that we have to generate those TikTok ads. So we do have avatar video capabilities. So if you're looking to add in some sort of visible narration to deliver that video script, or maybe you're in a tight pinch and you need to kind of bring somebody in without having to partner with a creator, you can leverage our suite of AI avatars to kind of help make that content message. And then I really like from our ideation standpoint is the ability to generate scripts. So we do have a script generator that lives directly within the creative studio. So here you can put in certain details of your product, and then as well as you can select the kind of tonality that you would like to take, whether that be a little bit more serious or that be more playful. And then the script generator is essentially going to help you build out a script that, again, follows the TikTok best practices and some of the higher performing stylistic approaches that do well on our platform. So you're really making it centric for TikTok. I love to talk about this because I feel like when you get into the world of Gen AI and creative, people sometimes tend to get a little bit more apprehensive, and there's maybe some stigmas involved with what the expectations are. I feel like with generating scripts and using that from more of an ideation approach, it's a really great way to kind of get your feet wet with our suite of tools, because it's really helping you maximize your efficiency in your ideation stages or your planning stages. And then maybe it helps draw some more inspiration to the types of content that you would like to, test and learn. I think aside from everything else too, and one thing that I really want to mention is, when we talked about leveraging human creativity with AI efficiency, we really try to emphasize that. So a lot of the tools that we offer to our clients, we never suggest that, Gen AI be the full 0 to 1 strategy for their creative output. It should be a lever that they can pull to help scale their creative. But we definitely want them to still keep that authentic essence that makes TikTok, so enjoyable and so engaging with a large variety of different sorts of with viewers. So here's a little bit of example that I wanted to walk through. So what if I just have some B-roll or some production assets that aren't getting any sort of use, but I want to start pushing them onto TikTok? As I mentioned, if you use our generate TikTok ads tool, you can actually just upload some image or video clips and then add in some information about your product. And then the tool will actually generate a script and a stylistic series of different videos that are native to TikTok. So you can kind of see here on our right hand side, just piecing together using an AI avatar, throwing some captions, and then some hard cuts with the content that was uploaded to create just a cohesive video about a specific product that we're trying to push. Then we also have the ability not only from 0 to 1, but we have the ability again to give your ads a fresh spin. So being able to go from one to many. So we have the ability with our translating and lip dub tool. So if you'd like to take an asset and actually localize it to different regions across the globe, this is a tool that a lot of our clients use to be able to reach different audiences and not just stay limited within the scope of the region that they're advertising in. So that's a great opportunity because one of the cool things with this tool, and if you get a chance to actually try it out and create an account, it actually analyzes the inflections of the voice and the movement of the mouth to keep it as naturally flowing as possible. So when you hear what the translation sounds like, it's actually going to sound like the person that had said the original statement in English or whatever language that they started with. We also have our video editor, which integrates some of these additional tools, but it gives you a little bit more of a hands-on approach to edit the creatives, but leveraging very key elements like we mentioned that are native to TikTok, whether that be your background music, your captioning, et cetera, et cetera. And then we also have our refresh ads. So here you can take ads that are maybe coming from a different platform or that you have on TikTok already. And then it'll put in more, it'll swap out certain elements and implement TikTok style variations. So just giving you a chance to essentially remix and maybe save the shelf life of some creatives that you're seeing that are starting to fatigue. So with that, a good example of this is maybe I have a what if I have a polished ad coming from a different platform, right? TikTok's historically known to not, necessarily be professionally generated content. So maybe I want to upload that ad directly into this refresh ad tool. It's going to swap in and out certain elements again that are TikTok native. And then it's going to basically allow you to run this on TikTok and extend, a creative lifespan, whether again it's coming from a different platform or if it's a creative that you've been running, but you're starting to see some fatigue and some performance fall off, you can push it into our refresh ads and then basically produce a similar base creative with small variations to it. As well, another situational is what if I have content that's not fit for TikTok? Again, so maybe professionally generated or just coming from a different platform, different opportunities to input that content, whether it be in our refresh and remix tool or manually doing it in our video editor. But it's very key that you can actually take content that's not native to TikTok and repurpose it for this platform for two reasons. Obviously, you don't want to have assets that are just laying around without additional usage. But obviously, the importance of having TikTok that content that is specific to TikTok is also extremely important. And then lastly, some of the assets, the tools that we have within our suite that will help you maximize any existing assets that you have. So our new image to video tool just launched. So this actually gives you the capabilities to transform static images and build them into a 5 to 6 animated clip. And then some of the tools that we have that are currently in beta that we will plan on releasing later in the quarter is our text to video. So actually just generating an actual 5 to 6 second video clip from a existing text prompt. So really bringing animation to life with the creation or the imagination of what you choose to create. And then lastly, our showcase product tool. So being able to leverage a static asset image and then being able to combine that with the power of our AI avatars to really showcase the product, whether it's be something that they're wearing or something that they're holding. So again, what if I have product photos? Again, we know that you're probably advertising on other platforms where image ads are the normal creative strategic approach. So here you can actually just directly input that image into our image to video tool. You can either select a provided prompt or you can input your own prompt to help animate the image. And then from there, it's going to reimagine the image into a sort of short clip. So if you look on the right hand side, this is a cologne that we had which was a static, non-moving image with a white background. And we were able to add in more of like an oceanic vibe and a splash sense so that it has that engaging look to it. So again, really being able to take these assets and bring them to life and repurpose them outside of whatever platforms you were using outside of TikTok. And then what if I need more footage, right? What if I'm just having a hard time building some shortcut assets to be able to pair with some of the product videos or the product assets that I have? You can start with an idea and you can go from script to story. So you can basically enter a short text prompt. And then from there, it's going to actually generate it into a short clip. So if you look on the right hand side, some of these product showcases of makeup or unboxing or the like eating certain food to kind of give that UGC style. These are actually Gen AI created short videos that are stemming directly from the input of the text prompt that was provided. So again, really the only limitations when it comes to creative in this day and age is what you can imagine. So if you're ever short on any sort of supporting clips to help make a more cohesive story or a cohesive narrative in your video, this would also be a great option to pair with those product assets, like I mentioned. And then lastly, what if I need a model for my product, right? Sometimes working with creators can be difficult, or sometimes you're working in a pinch. So you can actually upload the image of the product and select an avatar to use as a showcase. And then from there, you have a way to now introduce your product in that video format. So whether they're just holding the product and then talking about it, whether they're kind of doing like a short walkthrough that's more engaging, whether it be maybe like clothing or jewelry, you have the option to do that as well. But it's a way to separate yourself while limiting the amount of resources that you'll need to use, limiting the amount of spend that you'll need to use, and then obviously above all, like the time as well. So you're being very aware and efficient in kind of your overall production phases. That allows you to kind of play around with whether that be more test and learn scenarios, or whether that maybe be trying to address other aspects of your business. And so just to kind of summarize, how some of our marketers are successfully using the platform. So obviously from an ideation standpoint, being able to tap into TikTok's script trends and overall like trending styles is a great opportunity to take what's doing well on the platform and then using that as a way to drive inspiration and just kind of that creative flow as you move into more of a production phase. Being able to input any of the stock brand footage that you have, you can see this tool as a multiplier. So again, being able to go from one to many is very, very key on our platform to stay relevant, to maximize performance, and to combat your overall creative fatigue. And then using AIGC to reach new audience segments as well. So while there is a lot of apprehension, we do have a lot of user sentiment from internal tests that we've done that see that our users are very familiar and actually very excited about the world of Gen AI and where it can go from a brand perspective if used correctly. And then lastly, again, just being able to take some of your top performing content and making small tweaks to it, right? Like if you have a stylistic approach and a set of videos that are doing really well on the platform, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You can just make small changes to that to make sure that the creative is refreshed and that the audiences are staying engaged. So yeah, this is a great opportunity. Like I mentioned, again, it's totally free to use. So if you are an advertiser on the TikTok, on our TikTok platform, all you need to do is log in with your TikTok for Business email. It actually integrates directly into your TikTok ads manager. So once you're on the platform and you're actually creating content, you can have all of the content synced directly into your ads manager to create more of a closed loop like operational process. So yeah, really great opportunity to maximize and scale the volume on the platform. So if you're not on TikTok already, I would definitely suggest this as one of your go-to kind of creative strategies, especially to get started, because the opportunity to scale is really great. So that is everything that I have. I really do appreciate the time so much. And yeah, hope to see you guys on the platform shortly.